Story 1. Considering the last game I played was The Sims, I'm either living my best life or one pool ladder removal away from eternal doom. Honestly, it's a toss-up. Story 2. Cash Cab. Ben Bailey is driving me everywhere and asking me general knowledge questions on the way so I can win cash all the way to my destination. Story 3. Kingdom Come. Deliverance 2, and I am frustrated. Racism and sexism are running rampant, and the Hungarian terrorists are trying to take over my country. Story 4. Far Cry Primal. With my knowledge, I would be a god. With my physical prowess, I would be saber-tooth food in 5 minutes. Story 5. Chicago Fire. So I guess I am a fireman in Chicago now? I would not consider that bad. Honestly, it would make my life much more interesting. Story 6. Skyrim. If I do not go on any adventures, I will not take any arrows to my knees. I guess I will be a vendor in Whiterun. Story 7. The Bear. Seeing as I am, in fact, a chef, it is not much different, if any different. Depending on the season, I am either a little better off or a good bit worse off. Story 8. I just watched Shogun. Since I don't speak Japanese or Portuguese, I am probably going to die quickly. Story 9. I am in trouble. I was playing Minecraft and was looting an ancient city. I have already set off the shriekers a few times. Story 10. The Sims 2. Mid-2000s fashion and furniture design. Easy socialization and jobs you just disappear to and show up later with more money. You know what? I think I'll be all right as long as I can also get that motherlode. Story 11. I'm pretty sure the last thing I watched was Mythbusters. It seems pretty exciting to get to build cool things all the time. Story 12. Pokemon both played and watched, so the world might be screwed, but it will be fun while it lasts. Story 13. Supernatural pretty screwed. I got some salt and a pair of purple scissors, but I don't think that is going to help me. Story 14. Looks like I am hanging out with Jake Peralta, eating crazy food with Charles Boyle, and doing nothing at work with Gina Linetti. Story 15. Mini Metro. So I will be stuck in an endless commute in an overcrowded station, or be terrible at planning transport networks. So just another Tuesday. Story 16. Bill Cipher was defeated, so I am making a lot of money recording the oddities in Gravity Falls and sharing them with the world. Story 17. I played Supermarket Simulator earlier, and I refuse to spend the rest of my life restocking the peanut butter these unusual customers buy 3 to 4 jars of at a time. Story 18. Just finished the most recent episode of Paradise, so at the very least I own a house now. I can also count myself as a bigger deal since I am still alive. Story 19. Last game played. Sekiro. I'd say I'm in trouble because I keep dying and resurrecting, causing a dragon rot epidemic, so everyone else will be in trouble as well. Sorry. Story 20. I am in a bit of a rush to fight my way out of a dungeon. I have to save the princess and become the Prince of Persia. Story 21. Nuclear Day for iOS. I am a survivor of a disease and nuclear holocaust in Russia, and my name is Artyom, anglicized as Arthur now. Story 22. Last show I watched was The X-Files. So, there is a pretty good chance I am living a normal life, but there is also a good chance I will end up in a weird situation. Story 23. The Pit. So just having a massive panic attack while working a shift at the Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Hospital. Story 24. It's either Everdell, where I play as an anthropomorphic animal building a delightful city, or Leverage. Redemption, where I am in a world that resembles our own, but there are plucky heroes out there righting wrongs. Story 25. Traitors. I am an awful liar, so if I was chosen to be the traitor, I would probably be really bad at it and get banished first. Story 26. Postal 2. The real question is, am I the protagonist or am I a civilian that gets subjected to the postal dude's behavior? Story 27. Corner Gas. 0 changes to my life. I live in a slightly larger version of Dog River, 1 province over. Story 28. Subnautica. I can barely swim, can barely hold my breath, and have become an increasingly neurotic germaphobe. This would end terribly. Story 29. Valheim. I would conquer the lands and earn my right among the Viking lore, or likely die from a tree falling on me. Story 30. Just finished rewatching Peaky Blinders, so things are gonna get lively, but at least it won't be dull. Story 31. Living through a collapse of global technologies during winter on a remote Canadian island. I am in a difficult situation. Story 32. I just walked in on my wife watching Arrow. If I wake up on an island or rusty container ship, I will definitely be upset. Story 33. Red Dead Redemption 2. I am going to have to learn to quick draw and ride horses. I will probably take up a life in Dutch's gang. Story 34. Rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer at the moment and just started season 6 this evening. I'm in a world of vampires without the Slayer. Story 35. Just watched the episode of The Expanse where they are on Ganymede. The station's life support is collapsing, they are under a no-fly zone, and there is a mutant super soldier between them and their ship. But hey, Mondays, am I right? Story 36. I think it would work out okay, actually. I would get to hang out in Hawaii with an insane Yakuza-turned pirate. Story 37. I will be stuck on an island with ghostly black fog monsters that will eventually be a waste of time. But I will be power washing everything with my super water gun. Lost and Power Wash Simulator. Story 38. The Gorge. I understand the beautiful Russian girl in the end, but it is difficult on the way there. Story 39. I just watched a half-hour YouTube video about Washington, D.C.'s brutalist metro system. I'm not sure what fate that entails. Maybe I will just wander around pretending I'm in Logan's Run. Story 40. Supernatural. Yeah, I'm in trouble. And I do not want to be friends with the Winchesters because their friends do not meet good fates. Story 41. I am watching The Wire once again. Story 42. Heavily modded RimWorld and Adventure Time, watching because I never got to see it. I'm in a tough situation either way. Unless I get Jake, I am 80% in trouble in that case. Story 43. I have been watching Sex Lives of College Girls, so I am probably in trouble seeing this much older guy hanging out on campus. Story 44. Company of Heroes. Dice roll, really? Am I one of the soldiers? Am I inside one of the houses that gets blown up along the way? Am I sitting at home in Canada listening about battles happening overseas? Could be bad news or a relaxing situation, depending. Story 45. I've been playing Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. I feel like this means I'm going to finish a mundane task, and then out of nowhere, a 136-year time skip will take place, and now it's up to my identical descendant to continue from literally exactly where I left off. Story 46. I am working at a bar in Philadelphia, and I have been with Alexandra Daddario for a week. Now, I am taking care of the waitress. Story 47. Just watched the first 3 episodes of the new season of Reacher. I could be totally safe or I could get murdered at any moment, so it is not entirely unrealistic. There are definitely a lot more chances to die gruesomely in this new reality. Then again, I might get the chance to climb the mountain named Jack Reacher, and I am absolutely ready for that opportunity. I do not particularly go for very tall or very big men, but I will make a very large exception for him. Story 48. I am in musical theater at a Salt Lake City high school. Luckily, the school is quite LGBTQ friendly, so it probably will not be as challenging as my first experience in high school. Story 49. Excuse me while I go romance the golden egg. I am going to tie that egg down so it never leaves. Not again, you stupid egg. Story 50. I just watched the newest episode of the 100 Girlfriends that really love you, so not too bad, I guess. Story 51. Like a dragon. Ishin. Well, considering this is based in reality right before the Meiji Restoration in Japan, I think I will be relatively okay so long as I work hard every day. Story 52. Last show, Twin Peaks. But I am watching The Return, which is pretty grim at times. Hopefully, nobody asks me for a light. Last game, Monster Train. Well, the bad news is I am in hell, but the good news is hell is the good guys. Story 53. Stardew Valley. It gets quite challenging when those 480 pumpkins need to be harvested and Abigail and Penny discover each other. Story 54. Guy's Grocery Games. Honestly, getting to hang out with Guy Fieri and all the judges would be amazing. Story 55. Depends. Am I just an ordinary resident of Scarabray? Or one of the party members looking to fight Mangar? Story 56. Elevation. Near Bend, Oregon, we have a few mountains over 8,000 feet. We might be able to get there in time, but it would get crowded quickly. It is likely to be quite busy. Story 57. The spirits of the dead after an all-too-violent war had a nightmare that came to life, bringing destruction and havoc in its wake, setting society 1,000 years back for 1,000 years to come. There will never be another game like Final Fantasy X. Story 58. The last game I played is heavily paywalled. The last movie I watched was Second Origin. It was a post-apocalyptic story. You tell me. Story 59. Well, I just need to find the food, emergency, and shelter team shelter and ask them for directions to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Thankfully, the Devil's Breath incident was resolved, and I should avoid gangs on the streets. Story 60. Kamen Rider game. Given the monsters of this season just kidnap people off the street to eat them, that is pretty bad. Story 61. Not too bad. Living on the island of Sainte Marie. I would be living in a tropical paradise while awaiting my inevitable death by improbable murder. Story 62. Currently playing High on Life. I might be in trouble. It's at least going to get weird. Story 63. Finished Dark Matters and Silo last month, and I am watching Severance now. All three are not great choices of realities. Story 64. Dragon Ball Super. I guess I would just be another ordinary person, except the Earth will explode and get wished back every other episode. Story 65. Last video game. Helldivers 2. So yes, I am in a difficult situation. Last TV show. Tournament of Champions. Cooking competition. So I guess I am fine physically. Though I suppose I am doomed to endlessly fail against chefs who are vastly more skilled than I am. Story 66. I just finished playing Utopia Must Fall. We're all in trouble. Story 67. Last television show I watched was Cobra Kai. I suppose it could be worse. Last video game I played was Minecraft. If I can play with other people and I can respawn, I would say that is fine. I will play some Decked Out 2 for real. Story 68. I was watching For All Mankind while playing 7 Days to Die. There is a zombie apocalypse, but I guess we are focused on space. We must be trying to escape. Story 69. I'm rewatching Miami Vice, so I'm a vice cop in Miami in the heyday of the cocaine trade. On the positive side, though, there's great music, beautiful women, and fast cars. Story 70. Guess I am going on a van trip across the United States with my wife and enjoying our time together. So exciting. Story 71. Video game. Path of Exile 2. So I'm not very safe. Show Bob's Burgers. I love being by the shore. Story 72. A Man on the Inside. I don't know, it seems like it's a pretty good time living in a nursing home, with the exception of impending death looking over everyone. Story 73. Honestly, let's go to the world of House of Cards. It is much better than the cartoon show currently unfolding. Story 74. Since I know nothing about oil rigs and have no desire to go to Texas, being a landman in my new reality would be pretty hard to adjust to. If I get to hang out with Billy Bob Thornton, that would be cool. Story 75. Well, I think I am going to be okay. The last video game I played was Guild Wars 2, and I know that game very well. The last television show I watched was Leverage, so yeah, I am going to be okay. Story 76. Game. Subnautica. You can build cozy underwater places, but you have leviathans to deal with. Television show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I am not sure if it is good or bad. Story 77. Well, the last show I watched was Blue Period, so I guess I am in high school and I am going to be painting. All in all, it is pretty fantastic. Story 78. The Walking Dead. Good thing I have some friends who have guns and swords. Just need to get to them before I get chomp. Story 79. Well, the good news is we mastered space travel. The bad news is Meridia just became gravel. Gentlemen. Story 80. Pop Culture Jeopardy. I guess the rest of my life is a weekend update anchor asking me things I do not know constantly. Story 81. Well, I am either running around Night City with a dead person in my head, or I am in Dreamland trying to fix things. Story 82. Path of Titans, a dinosaur survival game, so I guess I am a dinosaur surviving against other dinosaurs. It doesn't sound too bad, I guess. Story 83. I watched Afterlife, and some of it was already my reality. If rest is added to, I am definitely no more. Story 84. I just got convicted of murder, served 10 years, then got exonerated, so things are going great or terrible, depending on what part of the story your perspective is based on. Story 85. I am in Dragon Ball Heroes. What do I do? Hang out with Goten and Trunks, I guess? I mean, I am around the same age as them. Maybe I can learn some cool moves from them. I could learn to fly. Story 86. Orange is the new black, which I am living in real life because I am a detention deputy. The game is Forza Motorsport 5. Story 87. I just started watching Dr. Stone, an anime. I am totally screwed, even assuming I am one of the few who are not petrified. Story 88. The deluxe version of Bakugan Battle Brawlers gets repetitive once you hit the postgame and start trying to maximize all your Bakugan. The tedium will kill me before anything else will, unless I'm locked into the whole Bakugan continuity and lucky enough to survive. Story 89. GoldenEye 007. I feel quite comfortable doing field work, especially if there is a chance of an undercover encounter. Story 90. Traders. It is a strange situation because I would love to hang out with Survivor contestants. Yet, I can't live with the Bravo contestants. Story 91. Someone might steal my sweet role. It is possible that my career could be ended by an arrow to the knee. Story 92. I watched The Blacklist. Honestly, it's probably not too far off from the society we actually live in, so luckily not very much. I dodged a bullet, though. Before yesterday, the last game I played was Escape from Tarkov. Story 93. Last television show I watched was Solo Leveling, Arise, and Sakamoto Days. I wouldn't say it's too bad, given the only slight differences from the real world. As long as I'm not the main character, then I'm all good. I just stay out of harm's way. The last game I played was about 4 adult games. Forget the explicit content. They play far better than some AAA titles in terms of gameplay. I guess passionate people have more dedication to their projects than the major companies. Yeah, that's going to mean I'd be literally in trouble and probably even have a couple of unfortunate moments. Story 94. I don't know, man. Hong Kong doesn't seem like a terrible place as long as I don't see Wei going too crazy with this one. The car. Story 95. Pretty messed up. I am not being pursued by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Secret Service while trying to thwart a plot by rogue White House personnel. Story 96. Video game. Forza. Show Seinfeld. I love driving, hate people, and only have about 4 friends. That is my life already. Story 97. Mario Maker 2 was what I last watched on YouTube. Paper Mario. The Thousand Year Door was the last game I played. Story 98. I am currently watching the movie Friends with Benefits. I just get to time travel back to 2011. Time to buy some Bitcoin. Story 99. The year is 1899. I just had a good time with my friend, and now I am going around doing everything I can to procrastinate on breaking the rat out. My uncle is as lazy as ever, and I am going to go get myself some rest. Yes, I would say it is quite a situation. Story 100. Game. Marvel Rivals. Do I actually get to be Rocket? Show, I think you should leave. Well, I think I am a bit of a silly goose, so I should fit right in. Story 101. Just rewatched Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I am still stuck in a world run by Nazis, but now I have Ghost Rider on my side. I guess that is a slight improvement. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.